How can you show how much you love your significant other? Which ways of expressing your affection will be highly appreciated by your partner and which will be ignored or even misunderstood? What you can do to strengthen relationship with the most important people in your life? In this episode, I will try to answer all of these questions and even more. Let's talk about the habit of expressing love. Hi, my name is Andrzej and welcome to the Helpful Habits. In this podcast, we'll learn how to employ good habits that will do the hard work for us, how to change our lives for the better, not by taking massive leaps, but with the help of small, easy to implement steps. This podcast is brought to you by The Land of Habits, the educational board game with which you will develop new habits and skills. Check it out on landofhabits.com. In this episode, we won't be talking about sex gadgets or discovering new positions. You can find plenty of tutorial videos about that on the internet. Instead, I want to show you how you can express your love to the significant other in a non-sexual way. How you can demonstrate that your partner is a vital part of your life. You want all the best for them and expect nothing in return. This act of selflessness and unconditional love is, in my opinion, the greatest gift you can give. Why it is so essential? Stuart Henderson Britt said once that doing business without advertising is like winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you are doing, but nobody else does. The same rule applies to the world of emotions. It isn't enough that you know you love your spouse very much. If you don't express your feelings, they won't know that and won't feel loved. Another saying that captures this idea is love is a verb. Acting is more important than just having a feeling. However, not every action will provide the same great results. You need to identify your partner's needs, understand them, and act accordingly. Otherwise, your communication with your partner may look like the one from my university life chapter. While being in the dean's office, I witnessed a situation in which the office worker tried to explain to the foreign student that she needs his photography. Of course, she did it in Polish. The student didn't understand a word in this language. The lady didn't bother with that and kept repeating the same word, but more slowly and loudly. It may seem like a strange behavior to expect that suddenly the student was able to understand her message. But take a close look at your own communication with your partner. How many times you have explained what you mean in a similar way? Instead of changing the language of love, which is the way you express your affection, you stuck to the one that is your favorite. It may be a discovery for you, but there is more than just one language of love. According to Gary Chapman, an American psychotherapist and author of 11 books, there are 5 different ways how you can express your affection. 1. Words of affirmation. 2. Acts of service. 3. Receiving gifts. 4. Quality time. 5. Physical touch. Let's find out how we can automate each of them in the form of the habit. How can you develop a habit of expressing love in your own life? Behaviors. The first language of love is words of affirmation. You can express your love by simply saying, I love you or you look beautiful. If you are willing to go the extra mile, you could say, from the all people in the world, you are the one I love the most. Or, your eyes are so beautiful, I could look into them for hours. Adding some details or context makes every compliment better and more credible. The first language is also about appreciation. You may say, thank you, darling, for preparing dinners for our family. Without you, we would starve to death. Or, thank you for washing the dishes. I really enjoy entering the kitchen in the morning when everything is clean and shining. By repaying with kind words for your partner's good deeds, you can encourage them to do it more often. You can use your voice and deliver words of affirmation face to face. But you also have the possibility of doing it in a written form, a text message or handwritten note. My wife has a special album where she collects hundreds of yellow post-its with some positive comments that I wrote each morning. Choose the way of giving your partner words of affirmation that is good for the both of you. The second way of expressing your love is acts of service. We all have more chores that we would like to. How amazing it would be if you had a magical wand and with a few circular movements, garbage would throw itself into the trash, dishes would wash themselves, and dirty clothes would just fly into the washing machine. You can be that wand and do the magic for your significant other. You can surprise your partner by doing household duties that belongs to them. I bet they will appreciate it and feel loved by you because of that. The third language of love is receiving gifts. Gifts don't have to be big or costly. What really matters about them is your intention. Gifts can be a visual, tangible representation of your love. By buying a flower, or even picking one from the ground for free, you can prove that you think about your significant other, that you are willing to spend time and sometimes money too to give them a reason to smile. Each week when I go to the local bakery, I buy a donut or croissant for my wife. I don't do it every day and I don't stick to the one particular day of the week. In this way, Marta is positively surprised when she gets her special treat. A donut can be the shape of your love. The fourth way of expressing your love is quality time. Sitting in the same room is not enough. You should interact with each other, work towards a common goal that is important for both of you. Depending on your preferences, quality time can be outdoors, walking, hiking, riding a bike, or indoors, talking, cooking, playing a game. It could be a long activity like watching the Lord of the Rings movies, or a brief one like singing your favorite song together. It is essential that the behavior is a source of joy for both of you and you commit 100% of your attention to it. No scrolling Facebook or checking your email inbox during it. The last love language is physical touch. Hugs, holding hands, stroking hair or face, kiss on the forehead. This kind of touch shouldn't have the end game of undressing your partner. You want to show them that you value them as a human being, not as your sex toy. You are not giving your partner a massage because you expect something in return. You do it to give them this blissful experience. Their happiness is your greatest reward. Now you know what you can do. Let's find out how we can do it more often. How can you activate a habit of expressing love? Triggers. It would be hard to find a universal trigger for the habit of expressing love because each of the 5 love languages is so different. That is why we'll examine them separately. 1. Words of affirmation. The moment after I turned on my computer for the first time worked perfectly for me. After I pushed the on button on my laptop, I immediately wrote a nice comment about my wife on the yellow post-it. To make it easier, I prepared a stack of post-its and a pen and put it next to my computer. Instead of idly waiting for the system and all programs to load, I used the time to strengthen my relationship with the most important person in my life. 2. Acts of service. We have 4 children in our family, Aria, Tadzio, Aurora and Tymek, at the age of 8, 6, 2 and 1. As you can imagine, there are always plenty of things to do to keep our home relatively clean and functional. We have a list of household duties and we try to divide them fairly, according to each person's skills. Kids have their own duties, but most of the home tasks are my and my wife's responsibility. My job is to wash the dishes, throw away the garbage, and take children to school or other appointments. Marta's responsibility is to do the laundry, grocery, and cook. But sometimes, when my wife is out of the house, she locks herself in a room to put our children to sleep, or she falls asleep, I can do some of her chores, hang the laundry, prepare a meal, or do the online grocery shopping. You can find a special moment in your day when your partner is away or unconscious and surprise them by doing their obligations. For example, after I am back from work, I'll immediately do one of my partner's duties. 3. Receiving gifts. Whenever you are buying something online or in the stationery shop, and after you come across a thing that you know your partner would highly appreciate, a bottle of craft beer, a new book from their favorite author, or a soap with their favorite fragrance, you will immediately add it to your cart and put it into your trolley. After you obtain the gift, you should plan the proper place and time to give it. You can wait for a special occasion like birthday or give it without any. You can hand it in or sneak it into your partner's jacket pocket. 4. Quality time. You can set your alarm clock for a specific time in the evening, like 8 p.m. After you hear it, you will immediately stop working and start preparing an activity for the evening, like unpacking elements from the board game or making popcorn for the movie. Sometimes it would be hard to stick to a particular hour each day. For example, if you have children and they go to sleep at different times. In this situation, your trigger can be, after all my children fall asleep, I'll immediately prepare a special evening activity with my partner. You can save energy and time by making the list of interesting activities for both of you in advance. When you are tired after the whole day, you don't need to be creative. Instead, you can just choose one of the great options that you came up with when you were in a better mental shape. 5. Physical touch. For me, the best trigger for this language of love is after I see my wife again, we were in separate rooms, I'll immediately come to her and give her a kiss, hug, or a tickle. In this way, I can show Marta that I'm not indifferent to her side. Contrary, seeing her, even after many years of marriage, provokes me to come closer and express my feelings. Another possible good trigger is physical closeness. After I am near my partner, within hand reach, I'll immediately grab their hand or kiss them. How can you reward yourself in the habit of expressing love? Rewards. When you speak the words of affirmation, you get your reward by looking at the face of your loved one. The emerging smile, the gleam in their eye, it is all you need to feel great about yourself and your relationship. In the languages acts of service and receiving gifts, you don't get to see its effect on your partners immediately. That is why you need a different reward. In those cases, I suggest imagining a scene when your significant other discovers what you did for them. A clean-up apartment or a box of their favorite chocolates. Visualizing the result of your action will be rewarding enough. What about the quality time? If you choose a way of spending time that you really enjoy, you will feel excitement while preparing for the special activity. The promise or vision of a later reward, a movie with popcorn watched together, thrilling match in a board game, will work great. In physical touch, you get an instant reward by touching, hugging, or kissing your partner. There is no need for another reward, I sincerely hope. The complete formula to the habit of expressing love. Sentence. Let's put all the pieces together. This time we have 5 sets of puzzles. Number 1. Words of affirmation. After I turn on my computer for the first time today, I'll immediately write a positive comment about my partner on Post-it or as a text message. Thanks to that, I'll feel great because I nurture a relationship with the person I love. Number 2. Acts of service. After I come home from work, I'll immediately do one home obligation that belongs to my partner. Thanks to that, I'll feel happy because I anticipate my partner's gratitude and positive surprise. Number 3. Receiving gifts. After I do online or offline shopping and see an inexpensive object my partner desires, I immediately add it to the cart. Thanks to that, I'll feel glad because I know how much my partner will appreciate it. Number 4, quality time. After all my children fall asleep, I'll immediately prepare a special evening activity with my partner. Thanks to that, I'll feel excited about all the fun we'll have together. Number 5, physical touch. After I see my partner again, we part for a shorter or longer moment, I'll immediately come closer to them and touch, kiss or hug them. Thanks to that, I'll feel the pleasure from connecting with the loved one. Final words. Love has many names and ways to express it. I strongly encourage you to test all of them and see in practice which of them works best for you and your partner. May the power of good habits be with you, and till next time.